Yeah, all yours, Narendra.
Thank you, Mr. Amit. Guys, can you see it?
Yes,
Can you see my screen?
Yes,
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 right.
we can.
Yes.
Okay. So basically, I'm Narendra. I'm based out of Ahmednagar, which is a state, like district in Maharashtra state. So I'm associated with farmers, basically from the small scale farmers, like the ones with the small land with them. And we have formed a company called Agro Gold Farmers Producer Company. We have got around 1,000 farmers in this company who are the shareholders. And there was a problem regarding marketing for all these farmers. So we thought of accumulating all their products and selling it on a larger scale, and reducing the middleman and the marketplace. And we are working since last 2 years into this this business. So it's not a business actually; it's a farmers association, and we are doing it for the benefit of all these farmers. So from that background, now I have come into import and export, given that these bills have been passed. So the bills that were passed was the basic instigation point for me to think about import and export. So I'll give you a brief introduction and idea about what these bills are. So traditionally, how the farm products were bought into the market is a small presentation regarding that. So the farmer used to produce his crops, bring it to the APMCs. So APMC is a word that we hear quite often due to these agitations and the dharnas that have been taken place in Punjab. So APMC is nothing but an agricultural produce market committee, which is a mandi or an market yard, which we commonly know as. So the farmer that produces these products brings them to the APMC, and there are authorized traders nominated by the APMCs to deal with all these products that are brought by the farmers. So there were many issues that the farmers used to face while dealing with the APMCs and the traders. And then the traders used to earn the major chunk of the profit and then sell it to the buyers. The buyers may be the government, the manufacturing units or the companies, or the super shoppies or the small scale shops. And eventually we, the buyers, used to buy the goods. So this was the traditional thing that used to happen till September, till the bills were brought into, that the law was made. So what exactly these bills are? So there are basically three bills. The first is the Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Service Bill 2020. The second is the Farming Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Bill 2020. And the third one is the Essential Commodities Amendment Bill 2020. So basically the third one, the Essential Commodities Bill, is already there. So there is just an amendment into the bill. The first two bills are totally newly introduced. So let's deal with the first one. It says the Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Services Bill 2020. So basically empowerment protection gives us an idea that this bill is basically brought to empower or give more power to the farmers or the producer. And the next half I'll discuss again. So what this bill says is the farmer that produces and the buyer. There are just two entities in this picture. So why to involve the APMCs or the traders between these two, the buyer and the seller? So instead of the APMC, the government says that why don't you come out with a legal agreement between the producer and the buyer? So this helps in like dispute settlement issues that might come. It helps with the product specifications. It helps with the rates that are finalized before the crop is brought to the market or even before sowing. So many companies now provide finances to the farmers from the initial level. Like if they want, say, 100, like 1,000 kilos of onions, so they can provide the seeds, the fertilizers, the equipments, and the initial cost to the farmers to produce his onions and then give it to the buyer. Again, he can also assist him within the with transportation facilities. These are the things that can be included in the legal agreement. So this can happen between the buyer and the farmer without any involvement of any other person, and there is no commission sharing in this. So the farmer is getting most like the maximum value for his product, and the buyer is getting the product at a lesser value, which is a good deal. So he can bargain with his while exporting, or maybe if he is manufacturing his goods, he can earn some money from there. So there were issues that the farmer used to face initially while cultivation of his crops. So the money that he used to have was little. So there was some compromise on the quality. Maybe sometimes it was compromise on the quantity that he was producing, and because of some other reasons like electricity or unavailability of equipments, or like natural calamities or weather issues. So there were many factors that were affecting the final product that the farmer used to have. So in all these sections, the buyer can now invest or assist the farmer through an legal agreement. So this legal agreement was not in place till now. So now they are giving a legal base for these agreements through this bill. So now the farmer can directly deal with the buyer, and there is no middleman. So this is the first basic of the first bill. The second thing is farm services. So farm services is like you are giving the whole farm and all the services from that farm to the buyer. So it is like a agreement to get the produce maximum out of his farm. So even the buyer is somewhere not responsible, but more associated with the farmer during this whole process. So this helps understanding the farmer's issues and the buyer's issues on the same platform. So then there is the second bill, which is the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Bill. So earlier, what used to happen is the APMCs were having all the rights to deal or trade the farm goods. So no other agency could directly go to the farm and buy the products without intimating or without the involvement of these APMCs. So APMC's role was very pivotal role in the trading of farm goods. So it was like you cannot remove APMCs out of the whole picture. They had to come there. So to assist the farmers, government used to give MSP, which is minimum support price, to every major products. Like there are around 22 to 23 products in market today, on which the farmers used to get MSP. MSP is like the minimum price for their product, which was given by the government and which was finalized by the government and given by the government to these farmers. For example, if there is Tur, so Tur has a MSP of 6,000 rupees, which is decided and analyzed and decided by the government, and it is mandatory that the APMCs should buy Tur from any farmer and every farmer beyond 6,000 rupees. So they cannot go below 6,000 rupees. So the farmer's interest was protected, or his crop had some assurance that at least I'll get 6,000 rupees. So this MSP had to play a very important role when the APMCs were in place. Second thing is no trade as per MSPs outside physical premises of APMCs. So earlier it was that the APMC was the only one-point solution where the farmers could take their goods. Legally, they were not allowed to go into open market and sell the products without any assistance from the APMCs. So for example, if my farm is in Ahmednagar, a small place, and if I want to trade or sell my product to Punjab, it was not possible without the interference of APMCs, without me paying the cess and the taxes to the APMCs. So even if I do not take my product to the APMC market, like the market yard premises, if I'm sending it from my farm directly to Punjab, then too I had to pay cess to the APMCs out of with no reason, no solid reason. The third thing is like I mentioned the third point. Fourth thing is deduction of amount from MSP against various heads, exploitation by APMCs. So what used to happen is, for example, I gave you the example of tur dal. So for tur, the 6,000 is the MSP. So when the farmers used to take the his goods to the APMCs and sell it to the APMC or to the government agency, there were some expenses that used to occur during this process. So there was transportation, there was labor charges, there were charges on the what you call the bag, the gunny bags, there were cess. So all these expenses used to be deducted from the MSP. So the farmers did not get the 6,000 rupees, even if it is promised by the government. So it used to be somewhere around 5,000 plus minus. So again, the farmers were exploited by the APMCs, and the the profit was shared between the APMCs and the traders inside the APMCs. So this was the problem with the APMCs and the existence of APMCs. So this law has reduced or totally removed the role of APMCs from the trade of the farm goods. So this would help the farmers as well as the market he wants to sell these products in. Now the MSP used to be like the product used to get the MSP value only if he is selling the product inside the boundaries of the market. Like if he is selling it inside the APMC, then only he'll get the MSP. Now the MSP limit has been removed. So no matter where he is selling his product, he'll get a value better than the MSP. So he has to sell. He has to be like he is assured that he'll get a good value for his product. Now with this bill, farmers can sell the products to private companies without any cess, tax, or any other charges to be paid to the APMCs. No interference of government in agribusiness. So this is a point that a few farmers say, find it difficult to accept, that the government's role in this agribusiness or agri-trade or the trade of his goods is limited, or they have totally withdrawn their involvement in this transaction. So farmers somewhere are scared that if their involvement is removed from this trade, the traders or the companies or the traders would dominate the whole market, and they'll rule the market rates as well. So there are a few options that the government has come up with, and they are quite innovative actually. So we'll study about them as well. So in this place, in place of APMCs, a new body has been given the task or given the rights to execute all these things. So first is the farmers producer companies and the farmers producer organizations. And there are some small farmer groups who can play the role of an APMC. So basically, the MSP or the price that was assured by the government for his product, the farmer now can get directly into his account. So if the farmer is taking his, say, 1,000 kgs of tur to a farmer producer company, he has to submit his Aadhaar card, his bank details, and his quantity. The farmers producer company has to tell the government that so and so amount, so and so quantity of farm goods have received by me, by our company, and so is the amount. The next day, the government will send the money to his account, the farmer's account directly, which will be 6,000 without any single deduction. And the expenses like the transport expenses, the packing, the labor, and other expenses, the farmers producer company can claim from the government. So the government is taking taking the responsibility and taking the expenses which were incurred in the APMCs by the farmers. So again, it's a good thing for the farmers that they need not put money into transporting and packaging and grading and cleaning of their products. So which would be taken care by the farmers producer companies and the government eventually. The third bill is Essential Commodities Amendment Bill. So basically, what are essential commodities? So essential commodities are the commodities or the goods that we use, the citizens of India use on day-to-day basis. So it can be any food product, it can be clothes, it can be any cosmetics, it can be any necessary item that we use on day-to-day basis, and which is very essential for our living. So the government has to play an important role, that our citizens should have ample of these products in the market, so that there is no gap between demand and supply, so that it should not happen that we are producing a certain product, and our citizens are not getting it, and people are like traders are just exporting it, and we are not having the benefit of manufacturing these products. So to control these things, the government has a role to play while regulating which commodities to be exported, which commodities cannot be exported, and which commodities cannot be exported for a certain amount of period, certain period of time. So the motive behind is to prevent hoarding of commodities, which can create artificial demand in the market and eventually affect the normal life of the people. So hoarding is a common thing for traders. It has been a common thing for traders, so that's what they have been doing since a long time. So for example, we see there's a huge fluctuation between the onion prices. Maybe in March it was something around 200 rupees, then April it was again 5 rupees, and again July it was 120 rupees. So there's a huge fluctuation, and this fluctuation is made purposefully for gaining profit by the traders or the holding agencies. So this law restricts the holding capacity or the holding infrastructure by the traders. So already there are quite a few commodities which are included in the essential list of commodities. Now, Government of India has added, removed a few commodities from this list. So it depends on time to time. Like if it is necessary, government can add these commodities. If it is not necessary, they can remove these commodities. It is the bill says that the central government has all these rights. So, for example, during this pandemic, when it started, the masks and sanitizers were included into the essential commodities, so that our citizens can have ample of them. And once there were many companies in market who are producing sanitizers and face masks, again the commodity was removed from essential commodities. So this is a very a recent example of this thing that took place. I would give you an example. For example, onion. So onion is hoarded by traders. To stop this, they'll just include onion into the essential commodities list, and eventually he cannot hoard the onions after beyond a certain limit. So there are limitations. Say 5 metric tons or 10 metric tons. It depends on product to product. How much is the maximum hoarding capacity, hoarding limitation for any holder or any trader for that instance. So once the prices come down, again the product can be removed from the essential commodities list. So as per this new amendment, these products have been removed from the essential commodities list, which are cereals, pulses, edible oil seeds, oils, potatoes, and onions, out of which the first few are non-perishable, which can be stored in godowns or cold storage units, and the other like potato and onions are perishable stuff. So they have their own age, not age, but I would say perishable span in which they have to be consumed or made into other products as well. So this essential commodities bill gives the right to the central government to remove and add these products in certain cases. So the cases are like war, famine, high price rise, or natural calamities. So in these cases, the government is free to add products or remove products from its list. So there is a point which says high price rise. So how is this high price rise a point in this bill? So we'll study it further. So, for example, the cereals, pulses, edible seed oils, and oils, non-perishable, and the onions and potatoes are perishable. So, what the government has added in this bill is if the retail rate of that product, if it goes beyond 50% of its retail price, then government will add back these products to the essential commodities list. So only for the non-perishable stuff, it has to go beyond 50% of the retail market price. And for the perishable product, it has to go beyond 100% of the retail price. If these conditions are if these circumstances come up, then the products would be added back to the essential commodities list. For example, if say any of your favorite dal, it costs 100 rupees a kg. If tomorrow, due to hoarding or due to many other reasons, maybe less production in the market, in the farms, or maybe famines or wars or any other reason, if its price goes up to 151 rupees, so it has risen beyond 50%, in that case the government of India adds it to the essential commodities list. And there are restrictions put into export of these products, or limitations on quantity of export for these products. So this is an example for non-perishable things. For example, if we take perishable, which is onions and potatoes, if its cost is 50 rupees today, and by certain reasons, if it goes beyond 110 rupees, which is beyond 100% of its cost, in that case, the government will add it to the essential commodities list. And then again, there would be restrictions on its exports or hoarding of those products. Then the next question is, why the agitation? Like we have seen a huge agitation in Punjab, Haryana, and other regions. So the main reason is the economies of states like Punjab, Haryana, and are majorly dependent on the cess collected from these APMCs. But this has a limitation, that even if the law has been passed by the central government, it has not been accepted by these state governments. So this law does not directly affect the farmers who are agitating right now. Unless the state government accepts the law, then there would be repercussions of this law. So the cess that has been collected by these APMCs go to the government, the state government, and they use these funds for their other activities like construction of roads or infrastructure or any other development in the state. So Punjab and Haryana, being a huge wheat producing states, they contribute a huge amount of cess to the APMCs and eventually to the state government. Again, the second point is the loss of these revenue generation sources shall affect the economies of these states. So as I said that the cess collected by these APMCs and eventually the state governments is a huge part of their income sources for these state governments. So once they are stopped, they will fall they'll have less funds available with them for other activities and infrastructure and other activities. So these states are primarily agitating for this reason. And then the third thing is the political motives, which may not be the reason, but many people say that this might be one of the major reasons for these agitations. Then coming to our exports, like how does this bill affect our exports, or the existing exporters or the newcomers? More products available in market to export at lower rates. So as the APMCs have been removed from the whole calculation, the cess that was going to the APMCs is now reduced. So the farmer is gaining more out of his farm goods. So he's basically getting a better value for his products. The second thing is, and because of this, many products are coming to the market without the involvement of APMCs. Like earlier, there used to be 5 to 10 products which were helped by the government for its production. Now, as the private players are coming into picture, they will be supporting and assisting the other small products as well. For example, these MSPs were associated with only 22 to 23 products. So for example, for Maharashtra, we had just 6 products, which is soybean, tur, onion, moong, and chana. So apart from these 6 products, the other products had no financial assistance from the government. For example, we have jawar, we have bajra, we have got maize. So all these other products were left behind with the fate of the farmers. So now that the private players are coming into this business, they will be assisting the farmers into qualitative production and quantitative production. So we have more product in the market for exports. So that is one thing. Exporters are now free to get deep into the farms and procure the goods from the farm gate without extra charges or cess. So there were limitations again for the exporters up to how much they can interact with the farmers, because the farmers were in clusters. So an exporter, even if he has a big order of say 10,000 metric tons, but there are no single body apart from the APMCs who had the power to control or to supply 10,000 metric tons to the exporter. Now that the farmer producer companies have come up, now that the private companies are coming up, they will have a huge chunk of these farm goods with them. So you can directly deal with them and get the huge amount of farm products for trading. That is one thing. Exporters have a chance to play in the price range from 50% to 100% of certain products. For example, I gave you the example of dal and onion. So government has restriction or has its role to play to put these products into the essential commodities list only if the prices go beyond 50% or beyond 100%. So basically the traders have the opportunity to play between 50 to 100%. So they can have their products or marketed or valued within the range of 50 to 100%. So that is one thing. Investor would also ensure better infrastructure for transportation of these goods, which would also help the traders and exporters in reducing the transit duration. So transport of farm goods was and again a big issue. So now that these farmers have come together, forming farmer producer companies, FPOs, FPCs, and farmer groups, now their product would be taken to the markets or taken to the warehouses collectively. So for example, there is a farmer who has got just 10 bags of wheat. So for 10 bags of wheat, he cannot hire a tractor. But if 10 farmers are coming together, they can hire a truck together and take it to the take it to the markets. So earlier, these APMCs did not support this system. So they used to call just one farmer at a time or maybe two farmers at a time. And the transportation cost, again, the farmer had to bear. So it was not really a good thing for these farmers. So to conclude, I would say, like as a farmer and as a having a base of farm and all these transactions and the issues, like there have been farmer organizations which have been agitating against these things for maybe 10 to 15 years. So I would say that this bills that have come into they have seen the daylight. It is the success of many farmers, and it has been outcome of many agitations on a small scale level. And it is a good thing that they have come up with these bills, basically. For example, there is a very prominent example that took place in recent last month, basically. So in Maharashtra, there are around 600 APMCs that are active in every district. So out of which around 250 APMCs declared that after the bills have been passed since September, so September, October, November, and November, mid-November, they had 0% of transactions in APMCs. So basically, the product that used to go to the APMCs, 0% have gone to the APMCs now. So basically, the farmers have got access to the bigger market. For sure, they have got a better price for their product. That's why they are not going to the APMCs and looking for the MSP. If it's, for example, there's another example that currently the rate of soya bean, which is the MSP is 6,000 rupees. But the market rate is beyond 7,000 rupees. So the farmers are not going to the APMCs. They are not looking for the MSPs because they have got a better price in the market. So once this is again not a fixed thing. Tomorrow it might happen that we have huge rains and the crop is not good. And that time the MSP would be helpful for the farmers. So the farmers have been removed from a bracket or like a barrier to deal with the traders or deal with the other markets. They have gotten access to these markets. So this is an idea about how these bills are going to affect the farmers and the traders in a long run.
Thank you, Narendra. I think it was a very, very good presentation. So great work. Just a couple of questions that I want to answer. I'm still not very clear. How is FPC going to be different from APMC, except for the cess and all? I understood, but like
Yeah.
I also feel that guys, what I was
Amit, I'm not able to hear you. Hello.
Amit,
am
we are
I
not able
audible
to
now?
hear you.
Am I audible
Yeah,
now?
now,
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
now you
yes.
are audible. Yes.
Sorry. I was just my dog was barking, so I muted. Sorry for that. No, I was trying to understand. See, I understand that the cess is going. There's a governmental control which is getting reduced, and which is understandable and good. That if the prices go beyond an X point, which is 50% or 100%, depending on perishable and non-perishable, government will intercept and will kind of take control of the pricing structure, which is very good. But my what are the hindsight? I'm still not able to understand. Isn't FPC just another replacement of APMC? End of the day, and
No,
how will
AP,
it decide? How will it? What will see? You have given us a positive side about the cess and all those things, but what will be the negative side of this whole thing? Uh, it's a very ignorant question, but I'm actually as ignorant as I can be, being a non-farmer background. I'm trying to understand that how is it actually making an impact? In fact, at least APMC was one central point where we could access farm produce. Whereas now with APMC is probably going to diminish with time, or at least lose their role, and they will have a lesser impact, and more FPCs will start coming, which will be probably spread all over the country. So one accessing those people, at least now they were central, which is gone. Two, and more importantly, it's just a replacement, in my opinion. We're just replacing one entity by another for another entity, isn't it?
No, basically APMCs was a government body and FPCs are totally private bodies. And they are the companies made by the farmers. So to be a director of a FPC or to farm a FPC, he has to be a farmer. So unless if he is not a farmer of that product, he cannot be a part of the FPC. So
Okay.
FPC is now controlling the cost of the product.
FPOs have to be farmer led, no? Or FPC also have to be farmer led?
Even FPCs, yes, even FPCs have to be a farmer. Yes, without a 7 by 12 abstract and without a farmer's certificate, you cannot be a director or even a member to the FPC.
Achha.
So basically, the farmers are coming together and forming a company, and they are deciding the value of their product. So till today, the traders in the market yard used to say, okay, fine, your grain is not good, you are getting just 5 rupees. Your grain is good, you'll get 7 rupees. Now the farmers will decide what is the cost of their product. Secondly, these FPCs are now being provided with better infrastructure through various subsidies and through various schemes, through which they are becoming online now. Like, for example, there is a Maha FPC. There is a federation of all these FPCs in Maharashtra, which is based in Pune, which is called a Maha FPC. And in this lockdown, they made a transaction of around 6 crore rupees of onion, so which is a very big deal. And they did it through online portals. Like they have got this online mandi through which they deal with the onions and other products as well. So it will take some time, maybe a year or two, but within a year or two we'll see all these FPCs online, showcasing their products, showcasing their amount, quantity, quality, location, and all these things will happen. So this infrastructure will eventually come. And we are not saying that the APMCs will totally vanish from the whole picture. They will be there, but this is a subsidiary, like a optional entity which has been made for the benefit of farmers. Earlier, there was no there was no legal base for these farmer producer companies, or there was no existence for these farmer producer companies. So irrespective of how many farmers came together, they had to go through this APMC tunnel to sell their products. So this is the best thing that has happened. And there was again politics, because the APMCs had their directors and elections and stuff. So the local politics used to have a control on these
There's an APMC mafia going on.
APMs.
Yeah, understood. And is there any place where we can get a database of these FPCs and FPOs? How does it?
FPCs, I doubt if the government is making it a public document, but soon the FPCs are coming with their own websites as well. So even mine, I'm applying for a website for my
Okay,
own
so
FPC.
basically, no, it will be a random search of products. So like we'll have to go around. So instead of like one APMC where one could go and possibly get whatever one wanted to, now we'll
Right.
have to go around hunting in wilderness and see if we can find some FPC who's dealing into that thing, right? Because you're
No,
saying
actually,
FPC,
mhm,
the farmer has to be a part of what he's growing himself. So that means the
right.
FPCs would they be much smaller in size and would essentially be dealing in the produce of those set of farmers who are a part of the FPC, correct?
Yes, but it is not. They don't have a limit. For example, I am producing, say, orange. So I can have farmers all around Maharashtra producing oranges, and we can act as a group.
Fair enough.
So
But it's only
if I
oranges,
have,
right? It'll be only essentially oranges, correct?
depending on these FPCs, a farmer can be a part of 10 FPCs as well. So there's no limitation for him.
No, no, indeed.
So basically, till
From
today,
the point of view of a trader, if I have access, how do I get to know where which FPC is dealing in what product? Till they all get so net savvy and they have their websites, and then you
right,
go around
right.
hunting and finding information, and SEOs coming into the play, and uh, I mean, at least APMCs was a central point to go out and get whatever you wanted, which may
No,
not
not
be.
really. APMCs were not at all the point of contact, or they were not the center where you can just go walk through and get your product. It was not that easy. The APMC's role was just for procuring, getting their cess, and dealing with it. Like the traders used to take the products for themselves. So
Mhm.
government was not procuring them, or they were not like hoarding all these products. Like if a trader comes, will give so and so products to them. So they were not showcasing. They were not helping the farmers to sell their products. In
Okay.
this case, the FPCs would be like the warehouse for the farmers. It would be like the advertisement center for the farmers. It would be like the communication center for all these farmers. So that's the difference. The APMCs did not play any role apart from collecting the cess and legalizing their goods. That's it.
Okay. Okay.
No,
Anybody else?
Amit sir, actually, if you search for the list of FPCs, right, like for Maharashtra, they have a PDF file. Actually, it lists down all the FPCs because it's a registered entity.
I could
Right,
not
it's
find
a
it.
registered
Can
identity. I
that,
am not
Damodar?
aware about
Can you just kindly mail it to me?
Yeah, sure.
That'll be very helpful.
Yeah.
So thank you. Anybody else has any questions they want to understand? Guys, open your cameras now, yeah. It's important. We're all informal. We're just handful of 13 people in the group right now. कुछ पूछना है किसी को? Any questions, guys? Damodar, you want to add something to whatever Narendra has spoken?
I don't have much to add, but yeah, whatever Narendra said, it is very well,
Yeah,
communicated
wonderful
actually.
presentation. Very
Yeah.
well presented. I mean,
So because whatever the agitation is going, it's like actually most of us feel it is politically motivated. Other
which
than that, yeah, it is definitely going to help farmers.
no, from farmers' point of view, yes, there are a lot of benefits which are being seen.
Yeah.
But from a trader's point of view, what will be the challenges that we'll face in the new
Even
system?
for traders, it is going to help because now a lot of middle commissions will go away. You can directly deal with, like Narendra mentioned,
there
directly
is
deal with
one
FPOs or directly with farmers as well.
Mhm.
So there is one thing that are like to speak on a larger scale. Our Indian products are good. Like the farm products are quite qualitative as compared to other countries, but
Okay.
our costs are again higher than other countries. So there was a big issue that the exporters used to face. Like for example, the wheat that is produced in Australia and the wheat that is produced in India. The quality is better in India, but the cost is less in Australia. So to mitigate with this problem, the only option available with the government is reduce the production cost and to reduce the cess and other expenses incurred, like put on the product. So if the
Okay.
cess is removed, eventually the product cost in the international market again reduces. So this
Indeed.
is one aspect to looking after it. And
So
again, reduction in the production cost. If the private players come in, they will help the farmer with finances. So if the finances are reduced, he does not have to pay any interest on the loans that he usually takes on farm loans or crop loans that are prominent in India. So if the interest is removed, again the production cost of production is reduced, and so the cost of production and the cess, if these two factors are removed from the cost of the product, I think our product will be quite
More
competitive in the
competitive
international market.
in the global market.
The other thing I would like to add is that there is something called Manrega scheme, which is there
Yeah.
that is actually killing the farmers. Because like they're simply feeding the farm labor with the easy money without doing any work. Instead, like they should be linking that with farmers. That way, actually, farmers will get benefit out of it. Otherwise, now it is like easy money for the labor, and
They don't
they're
want
not
to work.
they don't want to work basically.
True, true, true. And Manrega's biggest thing has been that they're getting practically like a dole what we have in many other
Exactly.
countries.
Yeah.
So they're getting whatever, some $200 a day or something is a minimum wage
Yeah.
that they're supposed to get, right? So if you
So
get 6,000 rupees, you don't want to bloody work after that. You're happy with that.
correct. So because of that, what happened? The farm labor cost has increased again.
Right, right.
Because the number of
So
people
are they
who are
abolishing Manrega also as a part of this whole new?
they have not yet addressed that thing.
Yeah, I don't think that's been addressed. That's not a part of the farm bills right now.
Correct, correct. But that is one thing which is actually because the cost factor came into picture. I'm
I
bringing it
know.
up.
When
Uh,
he's got 6,000 rupees, his stomach is full. He doesn't want to work. He's a
Yeah.
shama material, by the way. If there's a
So
labor.
now what happens is when people are reduced, I mean the people who are working, obviously the competition is more, and we have to shell out more for actually hiring a labor. So that's how the production cost is going high.
But do you think, with just another very weird question, but it's very genuinely academic question? See, one side, yes, they were exploiting the farmers. I agree with you there completely. But there was a certain kind of a price which was being managed through APMCs. Do you think with privately being owned, do you think there could be a kind of a foul play from the farmers' side, arm twisting traders with their pricing spiking up and down, or will there be some kind of standardization that they will not, that they will honor the commitments and things like that with the buyer?
See, the traders do not buy with just random figures. So they analyze what is the rate in other states, what is the demand in the market, how much hoarding they have, what is the storage capacity that they have. So the rate won't fluctuate beyond the limit. For example, recently, like it has been a standard practice that the soya bean from MP is procured on a large scale. And Maharashtra, it is hardly any soya bean is procured. But this time, what happened is due to rains that happened in Madhya Pradesh, the crop was a failure. So the crop did not come good. So the focus of all those traders came to Maharashtra, and now the farmers in Maharashtra is getting better price. So beyond MSP, the MSP is 3,880, and the market rate that they are getting is 4,500. So basically, the farmers are getting benefited, which is a big deal and which is a good deal actually, because for years they have been going through all these problems and suicides and loans and many other things. So for the first time, it's the beneficiary is the farmer out of the whole picture. So it's a good deal actually.
From a farmer's point of view, no doubt, the new farm bill has a lot more positive solutions, or at least the intent of the new bill is definitely to help the farmers in a financially and otherwise as well, and reduce their exploitation by the APMC mafia. My only question was, I'm like, maybe I'm not a farmer, so my default thinking is more from the point of view of traders or buyer customer response. How will they be impacted? Which I'm just dreading, because one, searching these locations, these FBCs, and then like all these traders or whatever who are right now currently going to be buying and holding and connecting with them. So that becomes a little more spread out, right? As compared to more central APMCs. No?
Oh, I told you the other some time back that APMCs was not the point of contact for any product. So even if this law
APMC
had
was not
not
point
come,
of contact, but APMC was like a big mandi, no? See, there was a physical location.
right?
Like,
Even
I
FPCs are coming with mandis.
I visited Igashi. It's a bloody mammoth affair. But you know, once you go there, this is the physical bound. This is the physical geography. You go there, you're going to get be gehu or rice or tomato or aloo or masala or anything, you know, anything to do with farm produce, and you will get it all there. So
So
that way,
now government is spending on the infrastructure for the FPCs. The
right?
same way it had expended put money for APMCs. Now they are putting money for FPCs. Like they
Acha.
are subsidizing around 60% for the whole project, which is a very big deal for FPCs. Like for example, onion in Maharashtra, onion had a very big market that were created in 25 locations across Maharashtra. So they had a storage capacity of 10 metric tons at one location, which is a very big deal. Even
Yeah,
the APMCs did not have such big capacities.
yeah.
So this is a planned, procedure, and eventually it won't immediately come, or like it won't be that immediately the APMC option has been closed and now we have an FPC. But it's a long process, and eventually the outcome would be good, because the farmers would be the one who are deciding their cost. And the way you said that APMC was the one-stop solution, the APMCs are not being closed, so they will still be there. The farmers who want to sell there, the doors would be still open for them. Only this is a parallel system for the farmers who don't want to go to those
Got
APMCs. So that's the one thing. So the APMC stays there, the MSP stays there, the
But the
government
cloud would be
procurement of
reduced.
these products is there.
The cloud would be reduced, but at least.
Exactly.
And obviously, they
Yes.
will have to meet price as per what the FPCs are offering. Otherwise,
Yes,
nobody
absolutely.
will go to them. So by
Absolutely.
default,
Absolutely.
APMC
No
will
one,
get
no
a
one will go to
price
APMC.
correction.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
price correction will happen there as well at the same time. Right.
And the FPCs won't be able to raise the prices to beyond the market rate, because again the
It will
FPCs have to
counterbalance
sell
on
it to
both
the
sides. Yeah.
traders.
It'll
Exactly. Yes.
counterbalance on both sides. I mean, like, even FPC will
Absolutely.
not be able to be too arrogant, because then people will shift to APMC to get the
FPMCs. Absolutely. Right. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I think I it was very well conducted. Your research was good. I have a lot of clarity in my mind today than what I had till morning. So thank you so much. Anybody else want to say anything?
I would like to add one point,
Yeah.
Amit, for taking this initiative,
Oh,
for
you.
helping other peoples to understand what exactly the agro business and what farmers are
Thank you.
facing challenges and what they wanted to get out of this amendments. And I would also like to thank Narendra for sharing viewpoints about this farm bill. I think there are few challenges which be addressed by the government of India to the farmers in a more detailed way and structured way, so that farmers will get understand. I think in this platform we are close to 14 to 15 people and we are all educated. And I think the people who the products what they are producing, like farmers, they are not at all educated. So government has to take some steps to educate them in their regional languages, so that they will understand and they will approve for this farm bill. So
Right.
was my conclusion. So I think the floor is open for other people to contribute from
Thank
their
you
end.
so much, Prasad. Really appreciate your kind words. I'm just trying to keep the group active and alive. That was the purpose of creating the food exit. To focus on food should talk, and we should keep talking and sharing information. That was my intent of creating food exim. So I'm just trying to keep the group alive by having some productive conversations going here, rather than just making inquiries for the respective export, which is always a good idea. But if we can also bring more information and knowledge, I think that is what will help a lot of, especially the newcomers. And I
And by the way, Amit, I am a new starter, and
same
I'm
here,
planning to,
same here.
I don't have any, I don't know about ABC, about export import. I am just trying to, do some research work, and then,
That we are all, I'm at least in the same boat for sure. Dimple is a senior
We
veteran.
agree.
She has 6 years of experience.
yeah. So we
So
have to make use of our knowledge in terms of getting our.
why don't you plan one
I'll
little?
surely, I'll surely, Amit, try to do a presentation on import exports marketing
Yeah.
and how you can, with the help of IEC license, like how you can do less documentation. Because I, as in start, to be very honestly, had started with freight couriers, because we are also into clothing, and slowly we started with organic farming, and then we started increasing with the product. So give me a time till Jan, I'll prepare a good marketing this thing,
Okay.
and share few of my clients experiences also with you,
It's very
so
important
that
because Dr. Rao,
people can
yeah,
really understand how what it is exactly. Yeah.
absolutely. Dr. Rao taught us was the basic principles and tenets of export import
Yeah.
business. He obviously taught a lot
Yes.
of things which is very important as a basic understanding. But people who are experienced exporters like you, Dimple, you can give us a lot of practical perspectives. What kind of
Yes,
challenges
yes,
one goes through, and how
Yes.
to handle and manage those things. I was hoping probably
Yes.
I was
Yes.
going to
Yes.
ask you for next Sunday, but you've already pushed the envelope to January, so I can't even say anything now. I was thinking
Yeah,
of probably
I'm actually not exports only as a business. I'm into multiple businesses at present,
wow.
but started as an exports.
Okay.
So I am really packed up with some things. So give me
I
till
appreciate.
first week of Jan. I'll surely
Okay. Okay.
get
Okay.
back on this
Let
marketing
me know.
strategy, because to be
Just give me
honest with you,
a
I
call.
have never ever utilized or spent huge money on marketing. So there are some small strategies which I'll share through presentation,
That'll
and
be
give
so
some
nice.
live examples also.
That'll be so brilliant. Thank you so
and
much, April. You give me a shout whenever you want to go with it, and we will try and organize and structure the whole thing, and we'll present it accordingly.
Sure,
That's
sure,
very
sure,
nice.
sure, sure,
Please,
sure.
all of you, anybody who can bring any kind of knowledge share for which will help others, I guess it will just help all of us. So please keep coming up. I'll also try and collate some information and try and make something. Uh, I'll come up with. I haven't had given a thought what I can probably teach others. So let me put my thoughts, and I'm sure I'll add something.
I would
The
like to
initial
add
way of
one point.
starting is, for starters, I don't know whether you can take this as a suggestion or advice. Initial way of starting is, when you're under the process of registration, why can't you connect with some small size companies? Like I had shared one website called fundudata.com.
Mhm.
Try and connect an email with their what you can help with. If you have some clients, or one, or see, out of 50 or 20 responses, you can at least have one, and you can start up with your new order, and slowly you can see,
What
go
is
through the
Fundu data?
process also.
What is Fundu data? I don't even know what is Fundu data.
See, Fundu Data is basically a website where you can get n number of information about small sector companies, large sector companies, what is their turnover, number of employees, their address, website details, what
Mhm.
is their production. You can also find out whether they have been into a fraudsters list or a blacklist, and all such things. And each company, what are they, basically their products, what are the products, if they are into exports or any other things, like even from courier to marketing and rest of the things, whichever is your requirement as per exports. So
One.
you can start calling them up. They initially, it's hard as a, when you're under registration, to convince something, but at least out of 21 will respond to you as a supplier or a client for demand. Currently there are various organic things, since we give chance to newcomers mostly. But seeing the market last 2 3 years, people are more going ahead with organic products, be it food products, be it like into cosmetic or any other things. I suppose नरेंद्रला जास्त ह्याच्यात माहिती असेल.
Oh,
So basically, these are the things. So there are various entrepreneurs and professionals also coming up with this. So even if it is a new product and not a branded one, parties are ready to, buy those products in bulk or an initial trial basis.
Okay.
So this can be something as a new scope.
No, I think your presentation will bring a lot of practical perspective to the training that Dr. Rao has given us. He has taught us what all to do and how we can go, but you will be teaching us actually more how and more practical aspects to the whole thing. So it will be very beneficial if you can
Yes.
create a nice. This January is not very fast. So you please finish your current commitments, which are of course very important, and then we look forward to first week of January, I think, with your presentation.
Yeah, sure. First week I'll
Dimple
surely
ma'am has already
share
shared.
and take my clients also.
Sure, thank you. You were saying something, Prasad?
Yeah, Dimple has already shared this data bank when Koteshwara sir has taken the class, Fondu data.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
missed.
think you it is
Yes, there
missed in your
are other
this thing.
websites also. I'll see if I can
Yeah,
share that on group, say probably by day after
Really?
tomorrow,
Yes, please
yeah,
do.
yeah.
Because there are a lot
and
of
I'll give you
people
some
who are
other
not.
informations related to it.
Certainly. Thank you so much. I think that will be super beneficial for everyone.
And I request entire team. See, I'll say one practical scenario. So I am a fresher for this export import business. Despite I have close to 14 years experience in pharma sales, because of this pandemic, I have lost my job. Right now, I am a jobless. So during my what do you call this window shopping, I came to know regarding this export import. When I heard about this importing and exporting business, it looks very fancy and it looks very easy. It is okay. I can spend another 30-40,000 and I get all my registrations done, and I can start approaching clients, and then I'll. This is what my assumption. But yes, to go ahead with this thought process without having a job, and there are so many responsibilities also I need to fulfill all these things. But before taking a decision of export import business, so I am little skeptical about whether I can do good, or otherwise am I taking a right decision. Because of this pandemic, there across pan India or across globe, there are so many people who has lost their jobs because of this pandemic. So I think if we see in our group also, when we attended Rao's class, there are close to 140 123 participants, and if you see the group right now, we are only 11 people. So I think there are so many people who wants to start, but they are little skeptical about their decision making. So I request the seniors or otherwise the people who are already there in the system during this export import business, if they can give some more light, so that it will give some sort of a boosting or some sort of a confidence. And
Yes.
I think not everybody is coming up as an entrepreneur. So basically we are from a below middle class family. So if you want to take, if I want to buy a mobile phone which is costing